So yeah, I'm literally watching from, my seat. People who are desperately trying to escape what is inevitable. You can't escape what is inevitable. You can't flee from the consequences that you've inherited by your actions. I'm not going to be scapegoated. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm a goat. One of the greatest of all time. But no, I'm not. I'm not going to be scapegoated. I'm not going to be bullied. Like I said, I am a victor. I am not a victim. And just because I pray a lot doesn't mean that there's not still a little bit of mean girl in me, because I used to be somewhat of a mean girl in middle school, in junior high school, 11 years old, 12 years old. Why are you an adult with absolutely no growth and development, acting like a middle schooler? Where do I start with some of these people? I mean, so I'm working out, right? I've been a member of the Y for a long time, at least 4 years, 5 years. Because like I said, your body is a temple. So I'm a very respectful person. I never throw the first stone. Why? Because it's just not my nature. I like peace. I like everybody to be happy. I like everybody to have a good time. I like to laugh. I like that type of stuff. I'm not big into all the she and all the drama. I'm not into it. So I'm working out, and there's this girl who I knew when I went to her class. I recognized her from somewhere, but I couldn't place it. I'm like, where do I recognize you from? So she is a burlesque dancer, and I actually went to one of her shows that a friend of me had invited me to. And actually, no, it wasn't. Well, I don't know. It was a guitarist that I know. It wasn't. Anyways, so you know, sometimes people compliment me. I don't let it get to my head. I know who I am. I know, what I'm capable of, etc., etc. Apparently, somebody had said something nice about me, a male at the gym, and this woman's response was, now, mind you, this girl is literally teaching class, and she thinks that we're her therapists. Like, the stuff that she says that comes out of her mouth while we're trying to do Pilates, it's like, this is not we don't need to know, I mean, like, I'm chatty and I'm talking to all these things off the clock when you're dealing with, because I mean, when you are a guest and you are an attendant of a gym, that's not your homegirl. That's your trainer. She's telling us about all types of crap while we're trying to focus on, Pilates. I'm like, yo, this is way inappropriate. Make a long story short, I'm leaving the gym, and I heard her say, if you saw her naked or something like that, you wouldn't think she's as hot as you think she is. And I can see how somebody could say that. My son, I got my stretch marks, I got scars and things. I mean, I definitely don't have a perfect, quote unquote, perfect body. My breasts, a little bit wrinkled and all that. Definitely don't have a perfect body like I used to, but I have a very effective body. Okay, it's not. Anyways, for me to be so nice to this girl, and for her to like go above and beyond to like try and condescend me, I'm like, why is that you? But anyways, my response was like, I can buy a new body, but you can't buy your soul back. Like, you will never be able to purchase your soul. I can purchase I can purchase new titties. I can get rid of all these stretch marks, all of these physical things. I likely won't because my body tells a story, but your soul, that's gone. And the thing about it, I wasn't even judging her for selling her soul. Like, it's a personal decision. If somebody wants to sell their soul, I'm not your creator. You know, I'm not going to be the one who's judging you at the end of your life. So it's a personal decision. Just don't mess with mine. That's my main thing. Like, as long as you don't fuck with me, I'm cool with that. But what you do with your spirit, what you do with your soul, that's on you. Um, but to sell it so cheap, and this isn't normally me. Like I said, I've tamed the mean girl. This was me in middle school, maybe a little bit of high school and college, but like I'm a grown ass woman. We don't do these things anymore. It's called adulthood. But I'm gonna get a little petty. To sell your soul for so cheap? I mean, you got people who sold their souls for a job at Wegmans. This girl sold her soul for a job at the Y. Damn, it didn't take much. It really didn't take much for you to sell your soul. Anyways, you find that a lot of times people are basically walking and talking children. They haven't developed themselves much from childhood as far as the way that they get down. They're just grown children. Their mentality, the things that they focus on, the things that concern them. And this isn't everybody. It's definitely not the people that I rock with, but it's more than I'm comfortable with. Um, Law of cause and effect. Law of cause and effect. So I'll use this one as an example, but it's not just this one. It's this one across the hall. Elise, who works for the CDC. It's Caroline and Jacob upstairs. It's, these, my former, perhaps current landlords. Just people who are more committed to what you do than they're committed to their own selves. If that makes sense. Like, and people say I have a big ego. I don't consider it a big ego. I'm just like, why would I fill my mind with you? Like, what do you do for me? You don't support me. You don't give me money. You don't, you're not like a mentor to my child. Like, you don't do anything for me. Like, why would I care about, like, I don't know. Does this sound bizarre, that train of thought? Like, why would I care about what you think of me, have to say about me, when you do nothing for my life whatsoever? And that's applicable to everybody. No disrespect, but it's like, you know, my landlord doesn't do me any favors at all. This is a business. It's a business transaction. It's like going to the grocery store, and of course, I'm going to use that analogy because I love grocery shopping. I love to cook, but it's like going there, and your grocer tells you that the total is $45.83, and expects like some sort of like extra favor from you. But like, this is a business transaction. Like, you get paid. You get what I'm saying? So it just baffles my mind how people can be of a certain age but so elementary as far as their state of development. And it's like, what happens in life? Like, at what point in life do you just give up on yourself and say, you know what? I don't care about my personal ambitions and my personal dreams. I'm just going to go ahead and focus on somebody else. Like, I'm going to dedicate my life to focusing on other people. To hell with what God has me here for, what my purpose is. I'd rather just focus on other people. Maybe that's like, I think that that's laziness, right? Like, I think that that's what it is. It's probably laziness. Like, I don't want to step up to my purpose. I don't want to be the person that God has me here to be. So I'm just going to take the back seat to my life and live vicariously through you. I think that that's why people do it. If I'm, really just trying to analyze the reason on why people do things like that, especially adults. It baffles me. I don't get it. Um, I identify that I'm here to do my thing. And yeah, there's pressure. There's pressure knowing that God has you here for a specific purpose and you got to step up and you got to do it. There's pressure. So that is what my attention goes towards, because wasted potential is not going to work for me and for my life. It's just not going to work. But I'll be damned if I spend any of my time focused on you or comparing myself to anybody. Like, why would I do that? My fingerprint is totally different from yours. Like, everything about me is totally different from you. You're not me. I'm not you. And even if I feel like I'm better, which I never said, which I never said. But even if I felt that way, let's say hypothetically speaking, what the fuck does that have to do with you? Like, how I feel about myself? And it's like a certain type of people continuously try to play God. Like, and you know that they're non-believers because they continuously try to play God. Like, oh, I'm going to cut that person down to size. I'm going to make them feel worse about themselves. I'm going to get rid of that pride. Like, you don't have the right to do that. That's God's job. And what difference does it make to you how that person feels about themselves? Like, if I feel good or if I feel bad, how does that affect you in the way that you put food on the table for your children, if you even have children? So I'm not big on distractions as far as um, living vicariously through people or trying to get my mind off of something when I have something to do myself, my own purpose. I refuse to be anybody's scapegoat, as you know. I'm a private person in a certain sense, and I'm an open book in a certain sense. I talk about how I've struggled with my son and raising him on my own with no help whatsoever, no child support, and how much of a financial detriment that's been to my life. um, Made me very, very strong as well. I don't know what it's like to have a husband who supports you. I don't know what that experience is like. I don't know what it's like to not not be in survival mode. So, and this is again not victim consciousness. It's just like this is just my life, right? So you can't have it all, and this is nobody. And I'm speaking generally when I talk about this right now. Like, I mean, you can have it all to some degree, but like, there's pros and cons to every situation. Is what I'm saying. There's pros and cons to every situation. So marriage offers security, right? If you are a woman and you are married and your husband is doing what he's supposed to do as a protector and a provider, you can go through certain trials and tribulations and still kind of have a cushion to some degree. You know that, if your husband is a good protector and provider, that your kid is going to be okay, that your kid's not going to go without a meal. You know that he's going to do his best to keep a roof over your head. You know that, like, certain things that you just know if you're married are going to happen. Those are the pros. You know that you have somebody to think through problems with. Like, there's an issue, you guys put your heads together, you can think through those problems collectively. There are a lot of different things that are beneficial about marriage. You know, the support, just like the easing of your mind, knowing that you have support. Um, it's a beautiful thing, especially if it's really groomed and planted in love. You know, knowing that you have somebody that loves you with you every single day, and they're not going to want to see you go down. That's peace of mind in itself. And so there's a lot of pros to marriage. I'm not anti-marriage. I'm not waving the flag of single motherhood by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not waving the flag of singleness. What I'm saying is that the cards that you're dealt with, make the best out of it. And I've found that being single and not being married, yes, it's been hell. Um, Not knowing how I was going to put food on the table, and poverty and all of those things, and the struggle were hell. But I mean, everything that I said about marriage, the opposite of that. You know what I mean? Not having support, having to think through everything yourself, having to figure out every single thing yourself. Um, that's not easy, and it grooms you to be a person that you don't like. For example, veterans, right? Somebody who's been in war, a military veteran, there's going to be certain things that you're not really going to be able to relate to them, because they've been through such hardships that have refined them and made them so tough that to the average civilian, they're not going to be so relatable. Um, because they're so freaking tough. They've had to go through so much crap that the average person just can't really relate to that. That's kind of how I feel about myself. I feel like I'm a veteran of life. I'm not going to go down all of my adversity, but it's more than probably anybody who watches this video could ever fathom. It's been a lot. So what has that made me? It's turned me into somebody that this was not by design. It was by God's design, but this was not the life that necessarily I dreamed of as a little girl. Um, but it's purposeful, and it's definitely God's design, because He needed me to be this tough and this strong for a reason. So I say that to say, like, we're all unique and everybody has different circumstances. There are people that have family that helps them, and people that have gotten access through their family, people that have gotten jobs through their family, or, there's a lot of different things. There's white privilege, there's male privilege, there's also woman privilege, there's attractive privilege. Um, there are things that beautiful people get that other people don't get. Like, everybody has their one up, so to speak, and everybody has their things that put them at a disadvantage, so to speak. So that's really why we can't compare and contrast each other, because everybody has a different set of tools that they're working with. Um, for these people that like continuously try and give me shit, I'm gonna let you know it's not gonna work out in your favor. I think you guys already know that it's not gonna work out in your favor. Um, and that's not a challenge. That's not, because I'm not here for it. And frankly, I don't pick fights. I don't choose people. I don't go up against people. It doesn't thrill me. It's not how I get my rocks off. I have my music for that. I have my dance for that. I don't need to pick unnecessary fights to get my rocks off. I'm super chill because the beast comes out in the music. That's why I can be so chill. That's why I have stress, because the beast comes out in the music. To me, that's a more productive and constructive way to channel that type of combative energy. We all have it. But I'm not going to fight with people who I don't consider. I'm not going to fight with people, period, because, like I said, I preserve that energy for my music, for my gift. And number two, when I don't really consider you an opponent, I'm not going to fight with you. I don't consider somebody who's had everything handed to them, that's not a fair fight. And I'm not talking about a fair fight when it's like 20 people 30 people against one person. I'm talking about a fair fight of a veteran going against a baby. That's not a fair fight. When you've been coddled, when you're super duper fragile, I'm a lioness. Are you kidding me? It's not a fair fight. So I'm not gonna pick a fight. I'm not gonna go. I never pick a fight, but I'm not gonna show up to the fight because you don't have the tools. And this isn't a comparison. This is just a fact. You don't have the tools. You're not equipped because you don't have the resilience and the perseverance, and you haven't extracted the gems that I have because of what I've been through. And this is not, a gossipy thing. This is an observation because you focus on the wrong things. You're so petty that I know that you really haven't been through much. Because if you had, you'd be focused on other things. Spiritual law, back to the laws of cause and effect. It's not escapable. You're going to reap what you sow. There's no hierarchy. We are all one. We are one people. We are one race. The human race. Spiritual law is applicable to everybody. I'm telling you right now, not prophesizing. These are things that are ancient. These are laws that are ancient. And I'm not saying this from some holy throne, right? I'm not saying this like I can't get got through spiritual law. Of course. Of course karma comes around to everybody. Not just you, but to me. I don't know. I mean, especially during, like I said, these questionable times, especially those who have seeds on this earth, I would be very, very cautious. Not fearful, but just cautious. Just understanding that what goes around comes around, and what you reap is what you sow, and violating people, doing horrible things to people and infringing on their basic human rights. It's not going to, like, to me, and I can't respect you as a smart person. I can't respect you as an intellectual if you completely ignore the law of cause and effect. I can't respect that because you're not that smart. You're not that smart to think that you could do these things, these horrible things to people, and not expect these things to come back to you is a total display of ignorance as far as the way that I see it. More to come.